And a lot of people that I've dated and gone on dates with, I have ended things and we have remained friends, right?
Again, Dani is a professional friend zoner. Okay, so you have to steer clear of those type of.
No, but I'll say this. My ex was a friend for 3 years and then we stayed together for 7 years, right? So get in the friend zone, right? And that's what a lot of women.
Hell no.
No, and you don't have to. That's right. It's a lot of women. I'll speak about my past relationship, right? When I was with my ex as just friends, I wasn't attracted to him, right? And then eventually I got to know him as a person. 3 years into it, I eventually saw him as a possible partner.
Oh God.
Right. And it wasn't like, oh, you have to wait 3 years, right?
Right.
It's okay. I'm looking for these behaviors from him. I'm looking for how he is as a person. And that's not going to come up after 2 or 3 dates, right? It's consistency. I'm looking for patterns. How do you treat your friends? How are you when you're mad? How are you showing up when you're under stress? Right. And I got to see different phases of his life and who he was. And then that's when I finally said, okay, I agree to go on a date with you, right?
I mean,
So-
in terms of that, did he always pursue you then from the start, or
From the
did
start.
it start as like just friendships, and then one day he was like, "Hey, you and I, we click. Should we give this a shot?"
I think in the beginning he tried, right? And then we remained friends. He was also very honest. And so he told me that he was interested in other women. Again, that took him further than if he were to just say, I just want to date you and play all these games, right? But he earned my respect as a person in my life, right? Until this day, there is still that respect, right? Regardless of relationship status. So
I didn't want to tell a story. this is story time. And the reason why is because what you just expressed, I've heard it a lot, and I want to give some advice. My buddy would always go to this bar. I never went to this bar much, but he'd always go because, oh my God, I love this bar. This girl, the bartender is so hot. She's gorgeous, dude. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, dude, whatever, And he told me he'd like go every week, to go and talk to her, right? And I was like, oh, dude, like she's a bartender. It's her job to be nice to you. Like, relax, dude. So this happened for about like 2 months. And so he invites me out one day. I go to this bar and I meet her. I say, hey, what's going on? And we get talking where everything is good. And I find out she's extremely attracted to me, and she's been talking to my, kind of friend for a while, and she's like, let's go out. I'm like, okay, cool, And me and my friend, we understand the dynamics. We don't have, kind of issues about those type of things. But long story short is this. Friend zoned him, right away, quickly chose me, didn't take her more than 5 minutes to make a decision. I say all that to say this. What I find that happens a lot with guys is when you are trying to wear down a woman, she's just going to eventually settle for you to try to do. She's not really into you like that. And so I'm really careful about that. And I don't think most women would admit this, but this is the reality is like, yeah, if you're going to keep a guy around, he's just going to wear you down eventually. That's going to happen. And then you're going to give him a shot. You're around,
right.
Like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, let's do it, Versus, do you want that or do you want the I cannot wait to tear your clothes off type of woman?
Right.
See, that's the difference. And that's kind of what I try to teach guys as to how do you maneuver in a fashion where you're not dealing with people who are not into you like that. The reason why it's important is this, Dani, is if we're not finding the right people who align with us in that fashion in a romantic level, we will waste each other's time. I don't want to do that, and I don't want that to happen to you, right? Tell women, if you don't like that guy, don't waste your time. Don't even put him in the friend zone. You need to move on with your life. The quicker you do that, you're not going to have all this baggage, and then I tell guys, if girls are not into like in that fashion, you need to move on. If you're just going to try to wear her down, she's just kind of settling for you. This is the reason why we have a lot of marriages that suffer. People are in marriages, but they're in very horrible marriages. They don't even have sex. They don't even like each other. It's because of occurrences like this. So finding the right one is more important. The one that actually sees you in that fashion. All right. Does that make sense? What I said?
It does. It does. I'm going to argue both sides, all right? For the man, persevering and trying to pursue this woman who you have your eye on, right? You're trying to get her. This is the thing. I didn't realize my ex was somebody I was even interested in until I saw him in a different light, right? A business person, right? I saw him step up into this role of being in control, of being able to take his own life in his own hands. I didn't see that for a good 3 years that I knew him as a friend, right? I kind of saw him as like this guy who was just chasing women, right? And until I saw him in that light, I didn't change my perspective. So for the man continuing to pursue the woman, she might not see you in that light. But to go with your advance of like, should you keep pursuing her? No, you shouldn't, because your focus should be on your life then. Because in that time frame of friendship between my ex and I, he wasn't pursuing me. He wasn't like, am I good enough for you yet? Am I this person? No, he focused on his life and he took it and made it his own, right? And that's what I became attracted to. Women are not going to be attracted to you because you are persistent and you keep asking them, right? Again, they're looking for these qualities. And if you are persistent and let's say in 3 months you come back and you're like, okay, I'm interested in you. I'm doing this. I'm working. You're not doing this to prove a point. You're doing this because you as a human being without her acknowledgement would still be doing what you're doing. Right? That is what's going to turn the woman on. That's what's going to make her want to tear your clothes off. But if you keep pursuing her and like you look thirsty and you're desperate, she's not going to want that and you are going to wear her down. Eventually she'll just say yes to get you off her back. Yes, that does happen. But to get her to that other side of wanting to tear your clothes off, work on yourself. Become that man she cannot resist, right?
Yeah. So
I like that.
We'll just agree to disagree. It's okay. You know. Again, you have two options to choose from. You want to hang around and with somebody who doesn't like you that way and hope and pray, or do you want to just move on, find someone who does look at you in that fashion? That's what I would suggest.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, my ex wasn't looking at me in those 3 years of like, oh, will you be with me? Like, he wasn't like, oh, go on a date with me. In those 3 years, he actually would come talk to me about women he was dating, right? He wasn't sitting there saying, one day she'll pick me, right?
Do you know why he was doing that? I'll tell you why.
Yeah, it's just to show that, hey, I've been doing better without.
You see how me and him already understood that?
I knew that. I know that, right? But the thing is, I gave him relationship advice too, in his relationship. Right? And that's the thing. It's like, and I know what you guys are thinking. No, I know what you guys are thinking, right? Like, oh, he's like back
You want to
burner.
be that guy, or you want to be the guy who gets, you know?
Yeah.
But
I would say what you
this
said
is the thing.
is valid. It's very
if
valid.
he never became that man, I would have still never gave him that time. But until I saw him in a different light, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, right? I know why I friend zoned you. And I know when I can switch that on and off, and women know that. But you were saying.
Right. I was saying that the advices, that things you were telling him was valid, but I do know that, like, the guy, he probably has
Of
the
course.
alternative motive of, like,
Absolutely. And
Hey.
I know that.
right.
Absolutely.
So you're not really
Yeah.
friends. I mean,
Right.
my friends don't have ulterior motives of me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're not
So,
really.
women know if men have ulterior motives, right? So am I okay to keep men on the friend zone until I can see you in a different light? Maybe. But that's, again, a game we're playing, right? And that's not a game I'm going to play.
Right.
If that's the game the men want to play, go ahead.
I do have a little mix.
You go ahead.
I do have a little beef with this. Like, I think if you rejected him and he said, you know, it's okay, I'm good, and he kind of kept a distance from you and then improved himself, and then you guys reconnect, that's when I think it's a little bit better. But I think the fact that he kept, like, coming back to you, kind of being like, hey,
Absolutely.
look at this update. I've been doing way better. Like, am I worthy now? Kind of like that. Then I feel like
Yeah.
it's really, like, not productive. Like, not good for him at all.
Just
Yeah.
another point too. I believe that I believe most of the time attraction is not a choice. Yeah.
I mean, but can't there be a time thing too? You know, the things I like when I was younger is different now.
Right. It changes. You evolve as a person too, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely, but not with attraction. It's a little bit different, and I just respectfully disagree with that. I think it's totally different. Like women know and guys know, and sometimes it is just timing, and sometimes it's just you just don't like them like that, and then you just settle.
I'll say this: there were many qualities of a man I didn't know I liked until I got to this phase in my life, right? So there are a lot of things that I wrote off, and as I know, not for me, right? But now I'm like, oh wow, this person is amazing, and I'm so proud of them for who they have become, right? But am I going to chase them? No.
And are you going to be romantic with them? No. See, that's my point.
But that's because I know my ship has sailed. I let that ship sail, right? So, but again, now the qualities of a different man approaching me, I am looking for those things, right? Versus, oh, okay, the shallow things of like, oh, how much money does he make? How tall is he? What kind of car? Right? I'm not looking for those things anymore. I'm looking for something deeper, right? Not only what kind of family do you come from, but how do you treat your parents? How do you treat your siblings? How do you treat your friends? Everything. Right?
What do you think guys want in a relationship? What do you think they want?
I don't know. That's why I'm still single.
That was the best answer she gave all day.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I really don't. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know, right? But I know that the man I want is going to want very similar things to me. So I'm not just dating men to date men for their validation, right? I'm dating for a purpose. There is intent now.
So lucky for you, I'm here today, so I got you. All right, I got you with that advice.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it. What do men want?
So a lot of women ask me this question, and what always eludes them is this concept, right? Is they don't think about the other side, because your whole life, and I kind of touched on this in the last episode, but we'll touch on it again. A woman's whole life is different than a man's. So everything is different. Our worldviews are different. Our experiences are different. So women go through their whole life, and they get a lot of guys coming at them, right? And then what happens is all of a sudden one day, they meet somebody they actually really like. Like there's a lot of things like, oh my gosh, I like this guy. And what happens is they've been using a certain set of rules to like filter, vet a lot of things that you've said earlier. And now it's like, okay, now you already know that you like this person, but you never changed the game a little bit in how you do things. You never changed your tool belt. You never changed, what you're using, because you've been using the same thing with everybody. But all of a sudden, here he is. And so now this is the quandary, and this is the issue that a lot of women they come to me and they ask, this is, why am I messing up? Like, well, what do I need to do to keep this person, right? And I'll tell you what it is. It's 3 things. I make it really simple acronym. It's just ACV. It's the ability to anticipate. It's the ability to cooperate and then add value. Why are they important? I'll break it down. The reason why is because very few women have this particular quality that we're talking about, the ability to anticipate. For example, Dani, you're like, oh, I didn't know you like comic books. I don't like comic books like that. But you're like, oh, I like comic books. And then you go out and do something thoughtful because you anticipated a new comic book came out and you bought it from me, right? I'm like, oh my God, this girl is awesome. She's thinking, she's thoughtful. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's anticipate. A lot of women, they haven't had to do that throughout their whole life. I mean, they have guys all over them. Does that make sense?
That does. That's very true.
Yes.
I agree.
Hey,
we're spoiled. I get it. I get it.
But again,
not get.
And then C, being cooperation. A lot of women have this thing where it's always, we have to, it's my way kind of deal, right? But you're dealing with this person who is a leader that you want to lead you. And what happens is women don't know how to do that because it's a muscle they haven't used. So how do I cooperate in this man's life so that he's like, oh, I'm bringing peace and not other issues? Because now, a lot of guys, when they get in relationships, they're having a lot of conflict because they don't know how to deal with it, right? They've never been a good leader. So there's a lot of conflict and there's all that stuff. But this person that you like, he doesn't want that in his life. So you need to be the type of person who cooperates, allows him to lead. V, value. What values do we bring into this man's life that you love and admire and you want to be with? Women need to start thinking in that capacity. If you can do that, what happens is I cannot replace you, Danny. And which is to say, right? There's lots of beautiful women, right, in this world.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and this guy you like, possibly a lot of other women like him too, right? Think about that. And so, if you are able to bring value that nobody other woman can, I will never leave you because I know that it's rare. Does that make sense?
It does.
So
It does.
ACV, ladies, that's all you need.
I agree. I agree with a lot of what you said, right? Women, we do get spoiled. We do get a lot of gifts, but knowing that as well, right? We know that men are just doing it to do that, right? Are you doing it because you want to get in my pants, or are you doing it because you genuinely want to do it?
We're past that part now,
Right?
though.
But no, that's the A part, right? So if you want a woman to show up with the A, what is it coming genuinely, right? Again, you can be buying multiple women dinners, right? And a lot of women, a lot of good women that I know, I'm going to speak from my girlfriend's perspectives. They don't date multiple men, right? They identify one man and they say, I want to put a lot into this man. And these are my girlfriends, right? And they're the ones that you mentioned, the ones that get curbed, right? So tell me this phenomenon. So they show up exactly, right? One girlfriend, she is a great communicator. She'll talk to him on the phone. She'll soothe him emotionally. He'll come over to her place. She'll cook him dinner and do all these things, right? Her place. She does all this. And she'll get a text the next morning and say, I'm not into this. So what is it, right? How is she not adding value into his life if she's showing up the way that, right? So if she's doing all that, then what else can she do, right? Because again, I'm not one of these women who will just willingly do this. And I tell my girlfriends this too. And I'm like, you have to, the value part comes in for me. I think it's the value first for me, right?
Okay.
What kind of value? Get to know them, right? As like you said. So how can they value you as a person versus you're just doing these things so that he'll like you, right? You're thinking that he'll return the like because you're providing all these services for him, but you don't know what he values yet, right? Again,
I would argue that all men value that. I have to just literally tell you, we value people who can come and like take care of those things. The reason why it may not be working out for her is because he doesn't like her like that. He's not attracted to her at that level that he wants a relationship in. Does that make sense? So that happens to women a lot too.
Yeah.
So women can add that value to the wrong man. And you're saying the same thing, but here's how we curb that, right? The way we...
So, but I'm going to interject.
Sure.
But you see what women have to go through
Yes,
first, right?
I totally empathize
And the
with
thing,
that.
the thing is, women are doing that one at a time. Men are not. Men are dating multiple women at a time. Women are saying,
No, they're
"Let me
not.
date." A lot of my girlfriends are doing that. They're identifying one man to date
talk
and
about the
focus
guys.
on their right. But a lot of men, it's a numbers game, right? They always have somebody on the back burner. We're playing Bachelorette right now. They're not doing that, right? That's
Yeah.
not really the game for women.
So let me say this, all right? And just a couple corrections in my opinion of that. What you're talking about when you say these guys, it's a very, very small percentage of guys that actually do that. I can just attest to that, okay? And then not a lot of people are equipped to be able to be dating like the way you're saying. I promise you that. So let's just say that small pool. I promise you. And then the other part, yes, women they date. They do date like that. They just do it differently. It's just more undercover. It's more on Messenger. It's all online, right? You're right. They're not going on dates.
But is it the woman's fault that all these other men are messaging her and she's like, okay, cool. We're not serious. We're not exclusive. We're not an item, right? But there are these other men. Let me just message them if I'm interested, right? I acknowledge that women do that, right? Some women
You
don't.
can say you do it
right?
too, Dani. It's okay.
I don't message anyone back. That's the thing. I don't message no one unless it's for business. So, or therapy. I have a heart, so clients.
But yeah, just to get back.
But like advancements and dates like that,
Yeah.
I'm not messaging back because you're interested in me. I'm not sitting there hoping that a man is going to message me to take me on a date. I take myself out on dates, right? But women, they do that. They entertain all these other men because they are hoping that this one works out. But in the case that this one doesn't, they are messaging these other men. But these men are not only messaging, right? They're taking these women on dates too.
the only thing I will say is just to address your girlfriend's situation with doing all those things that we're talking about, but not getting kind of what she wants.
No.
What women need to look for is the action of the man more so, and that's what happens a lot where they don't do that. When they don't do that, they kind of get lost in their own imagination of the
Yep.
relationship versus the actual reality of the relationship. So she may be doing all these nice
agree.
things, which is great, but she's doing it for the guy who doesn't want her like that.
I agree.
Do you understand?
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
difference? And so how do we get to that point where we're not? And this is the part where I empathize with women because it's a difficult process. You're giving yourself in a way where, because I only deal with women who show me consistency and like are able to add value to my life, and I'm seeing those things, but I'm
Correct.
very transparent about everything in my life too. You know, I'm like, hey, I do things a certain way. You know, you have to be on board. And so the only thing I would say to her is she just needs to pick the right people. She obviously did not picking the right people, so she's not getting the kind of things that she wants. And
Yes.
watch the actions, not the words.
Exactly. So, women, you know where you're going to find your husband? In the recycling bin. And I'm not saying garbage bin like that, but the man that you curbed, right, because he was too nice,